and we have takes. Welcome to Football Takes.
Football! Football, yeah! Football! Football! Get some!
Hello, everyone, and welcome into Score North's third bowl extravaganza. Today, we are going to be going through all 8 bowl games played today on Saturday. We have a full slate here, including one, gentlemen, that begins at 10 a.m. Central. We usually only have the 11 a.m. kicks, but since it's December 27th, we have a 10 a.m. kick today, which is just in 29 minutes now. So without further ado, if it's okay with you boys, I would like to jump right into that one if you guys are ready to go.
Yeah, let's roll.
Let's do it. So we're kicking off today with East Carolina and Pitt in the Military Bowl, a game where the market keeps pushing this line higher and higher. As of this morning, we now have Pitt minus 13.5, over under on this game of 51.5. We'll go through the confirmed outs to begin with here. Desmond Reed, who has been out all season, but the RB1 nominally for Pitt in the preseason. He is injured again. He's also going to the NFL draft. He's not going to play. Their RB3, Jules Goff, is in the portal, and he won't play. So we're going to get Turner again as the bell cow for Pitt in this game. Pitt star linebacker Kyle Louis is not going to play in this game. He is opted out for the NFL draft. Defensive tackle Sean Fitzsimmons, doubtful, is likely out in this game. That's with an injury. They have two guards where they have injuries. Their right guard, Ryan Corella, is questionable for this game, didn't play in the last 2 games. And then their left guard, Keith Guvera, is out for the year with an injury. Reed is obviously a good player, but Pitt played without him for most of this year. Louis is a good starter, but I will say Pitt has decent LB depth. And I mentioned before, we're going to see Jakirian Turner in this game. The other guy, and he was the only listed starter at running back for Pitt, Turner, of course. And then Cameron Lindsay is the guy who is redshirt freshman linebacker, going to be filling in for Louis on that side. Then we found out yesterday that Pitt's defensive coordinator, Randy Bates, will be retiring at the conclusion of this game. On the ECU side, we got a bunch there, of course, as well. Quarterback 1, Caden Hauser, is in the portal. He will not play in this game. Their RB1, London Montgomery, is in the portal, will not play. They have 2 tight ends that they play. Javante Connor, one of them is in the portal and won't play in this game. Wide receiver Yannick Smith, he is in the portal and will not play, one of their starters. And then their left tackle, left guard. Left tackle's not going to play. Left guard is questionable with an injury, and then a cornerback, Rashid Reason. We haven't seen him since the middle of the season. He's out with an injury as well. On the ECU side, it looks like we're going to see our old friend Mikey Wright, who has been well traveled not only to different programs in the nation but also to different positions this season. We have seen this guy at defensive back. We've seen him in the backfield. We've seen him at wide receiver. He is almost assuredly going to start in this game, the veteran. We might see a little bit of what will now be the QB2 there, freshman Chasten Dita, who's more of a passer. When Wright is in, it's just going to be running. ECU is just going to run. And then at the running back spot for ECU, it looks like it's going to be Gunn leading the rotation there with Montgomery out. Parker Jenkins will come in behind him. And then they have this kid Engelman that they'll sort of sprinkle in as RB3. We're still waiting on word. Boys, do you know if Anthony Smith, I did see that there was prop lines out for him, the wide receiver for ECU. Do we have confirmation that Anthony Smith is going to be playing in this game?
I don't have any. I'm not sure about that as of kick.
Yeah, okay. Nothing official, but leaning towards yes.
So if Anthony Smith was out, we already know Yannick Smith is out. This is another Abbott and Costello routine for bowl season. But if Anthony Smith ends up opting out, that would mean that Brock Spalding would be the only starting wide receiver left standing for the bowl game, and ECU would not have much depth there. But again, the books have posted Smith, so all the indications. Anthony Smith. Also, all the indications we have are that Anthony Smith is going to play. And then lastly, the ECU coaching stuff. Their defensive coordinator, Josh Aldridge, left for the same spot with South Florida. John David Baker heading to Ole Miss. And then in this game, their offensive line coach is going to be calling the offensive plays. And then I'm sorry. The offensive line coach, along with the running back coach, and we already, with Mike Wright going, already expect ECU to be crazy run heavy. The play callers even more indicative of that. Froton, I'll kick it to you to begin. What do you like in the prop market for this game?
Well, we had a brief shining moment in time from Mike Wright under 188.5 passing yards that came out in the dead of night. Unfortunately, it was quickly pulled because everybody with a good sense of what college football props betting is immediately went and slammed it. If you can find anything on Mike Wright's underpassing, I suggest you take it. That being said, Marlon Gunn is listed at 55, 54.5 on the offshores. As you mentioned, it is a strict rotation. They put 3 guys in that backfield. Even though London Humphreys will be out, as you mentioned, Engelman will fill that tertiary role and is a pretty strict rotation there. They're going up against Pitt, who, I mean, in terms of their run defense, just been elite this season with a capital E, 8th in success rate, 7th in yards per rush, 12th in EPA per rush, 4th in stuff rate. 25% of rush attempts against Pitt go for negative yards. And on the other side, keeping, as you had astutely mentioned, the offensive coordinator for ECU is gone. The defensive coordinator for ECU is gone. You have Mike Wright, who will be running early and often, which makes it kind of a 4-man backfield now, where Kettenhauser was more of a true pocket passer type. Good luck with ECU, considering their skeleton crew here against Pitt, moving the ball effectively. I'm going to take the under 55.5 rushing yards on Marlon Gunn. If you could find Wright underpassing, take it.
Mike, what for you?
Yeah, so Mike Wright actually, dead of night yesterday. He actually opened at 201.5 passing yards, so even better there. But if you did, there's one line on Mike Wright still out there. He's had 1.5 passing touchdowns at FanDuel. That's obviously juiced the under at -210. So if you want to include in a same game parlay, something like that, that's a viable play as well. It did sound like they're going to rotate with the true freshman there. And who's to say that we don't even see the true freshman more than Mike Wright in this game? So I'm back in a smaller play. This is probably our biggest edge in terms of our projections at the CFF site and fantasy points as well. I'm going under on Mason Heinchel's 280.5 passing yards line that's over at FanDuel. Again, like I said, it's our biggest edge in terms of projection. Most of the opt-outs, though, for ECU are on offense, not defense. And I know they did lose their defensive coordinator, but head coach Blake Harrell was the team's defensive coordinator before getting promoted. So I don't expect the scheme to change too much. And like I said, their defense is mostly intact for this game. During the regular season, they were 38th in pass D success rate, 39th in limiting explosive pass plays. So it's a pretty good secondary. So again, this is not a hammer play by any stretch, but again, our projections say definitely go under on Mason Heinchel.
So my handicap on this game, I don't think the absence of Montgomery matters much. I do think the absence of Hauser and the starting receiver Yannick Smith do. I think that those do matter because now that offense, it is going to be just run. You go one-handed now as ECU. But just to the point of the running backs, Marlon Gunn, his PFF, I'll just use PFF grade, give you the idea of the 4 guys still in the room. London Montgomery, 72.1 PFF grade this year. Marlon Gunn, Jr. Now, admittedly, it was half as many snaps, but 81.4. Engelman, for his part, in his 118 snaps, 80.4. And then the other kid, Parker Jenkins, was a 70. So you have bodies in that room, but the drop-off from Hauser to Wright passing, you can't quantify it. Their passing game now goes away. Pitt knows what they're going to do. It's just run. And I like the run-heavy dogs in bowl season. This line has gotten up to 13.5. I do lean ECU especially at the 13.5. However, the better play here is the under, and it's only come down a point in the last couple of days to 51.5. The under is my official play in this one. Again, though, do lean ECU, but I think that this number is inflated. I think the Wright Gun and then Engelman, Jenkins, that whole thing. it's an interesting idea for a bowl game. Just run. But as Froton was mentioning, Pitt's defensive strength is their run defense. So there's a possibility that Pitt shuts the lights out on it, and then ECU doesn't have the recourse with the pass. And the other thing, when Pitt has the ball, Pitt's offensive line has been bad all season long. ECU's team defensive strength is getting havoc in their defensive front seven. So I think, to the point of the quarterback play for Pitt, I think that kid's going to be under duress all game long here. I like the under 51.5. I think that thing is too high. Next one here, Pinstripe Bowl. And boys, in the preseason, I said Penn State was going to play Clemson at the end of the season.
In the playoff?
I don't think I'm technically wrong here. They get matched up in the Pinstripe Bowl. Sure, I thought it was going to be the national title game, but I mean, we get them here anyway in the Pinstripe Bowl in a game where right now the line is Clemson by 2.5. This one is sort of state setting. I don't think the market knows what to do with this game. The total in this game, 47.5. By the way, I forgot to mention, I'll say my lines, my adjusted lines for each game. In the last one, I forgot that in that one, Pitt minus 4.9. So I'm actually showing legit line value on East Carolina in that one. In this one, I actually have the other team favored. I have Penn State minus 3.8 here. And in my adjusted lines, I've mentioned this on past shows, but I bake in the opt-outs, the difference between the starter, the backup, coaching changes, injuries, of course. I try as best I can to get all that stuff. And we got a lot of it in this game. This was probably the hardest one of a bowl slate to do, to quantify all this stuff. I will take a deep breath and begin on the Penn State side. This is an 11 a.m. Central kick on ABC, by the way, today. But here we go. We'll start with Penn State. This is the confirmed will not play list for Penn State. Obviously, you guys know Drew Allar's been injured all season, the quarterback, and we're going to get Grunkmeyer again. Running back Nicholas Singleton won't play in this game. Their stud left guard, Ola Ione, might be a first-round pick. He's going to go round 2. If not, he is out of this game. Nick Dawkins, another offensive lineman, out for this game. Nolan Ricci and Drew Shelton, both of their starting tackles, out for this game. Zane Durant, defensive tackle, going to the NFL draft. He's out. As is Zariah Fisher, defensive end. And then their young defensive end, Chaz Coleman. He hit the portal to get out, but he would have been playing a lot here had he not. Then in the linebacker room, Tony Rojas out for the year with an injury. One of the backup linebackers, Alex Tash, is out for this game with an injury. You have 2 cornerbacks that won't play in this game. Elliot Washington in the portal. And then AJ Harris is in the portal too, a 5-star cornerback from Georgia that was so good last season. This year, sharply regressed in the new defense. Instead of going to the NFL draft, he is hitting the portal. AJ Harris, he's going to be sought after there. And then Zaki Wheatley, the star safety for Penn State, is going to the NFL draft. So what you have here, you have 4 of your 5 starting offensive linemen for Penn State are out in this game. They do have pretty good offensive line depth, but you're losing 80% of your offensive line. Then Penn State's also thinned out at all 3 levels of the defense. Then and of course the Penn State coaching, everyone knows Franklin got fired. You're going with your interim staff. The whole staff really got blown up, but Terry Smith is seeing that thing through until Matt Campbell takes over after this game. Going to the Clemson side, confirmed won't play. Receiver Antonio Williams going to the NFL draft. One of their backup receivers, Cole Turner, is injured. One of the other starting receivers, Brian Wesco, has been injured for a while. He's out for the season. Boys, do we have a status update on TJ Moore, who is questionable for this one?
I didn't see anything. I thought I did see his prop number trickle down about 3 yards, but I didn't realize that he was questionable to play today.
Okay. Yeah. If TJ Moore does play, Clemson does not have a lot of receivers, so he is going to see plenty of targets in this game if he does. Then right guard for Clemson, Walker Parks is out for the year with an injury. Braden Jacobs, the son of Brandon, another offensive lineman, he's out for the year with an injury, as is their guard, Elijah Thurman. Their starting left guard, Colin Sadler, has opted out of this game. Starting tight end, Olsen Pat Henry, is out for the year with an injury. Going to the defensive side, defensive end Jaheim Lawson is out for the year with an injury. Starting defensive tackle DeMonte Capehart has opted out for the NFL draft, as has fellow stud defensive tackle Peter Woods. as has TJ Parker. The edge on that side is going to the NFL draft as well. Wade Woodaz, starting linebacker, veteran there. He will not play. He's injured. He underwent surgery. He's going to the NFL draft. And then in the secondary, you're out Avion Terrell, the stud boundary corner, going to the draft. And then Khalil Barnes is in the transfer portal. That was a lot. Dabo Sweeney said 27 players will miss this bowl game due to injury or opt-outs. You do have Cade Klubnik, Blake Miller, and then Blake Miller, the right tackle, and then Will Helt, the defensive end. They all said that they're going to play. Will Helt's going back to Clemson next year. Clemson is looking to extend FBS record 15 consecutive years of the postseason victory. Pretty cool. But the backfield will be fine if Klubnik and Randall can go. The wide receiver room for Clemson, though, precariously thin. If TJ Moore could not go, that would mean that Tristan Smith and Tyler Brown would easily be the top two receivers. And then the third wide receiver in that scenario would be someone that we haven't seen much. That would be one of two freshmen, I think, if I'm reading the depth chart right, either Sanderson or Bird. So that's why the Moore one is so important as far as that goes. Froton, with all that being said, if we can figure out who's actually playing in this game, do you like any props in Clemson against Penn State?
And that is a lot to be said, isn't there? My gosh, all the different factors that are coming into this game. It's swirling like a tornado. The best bet we had on the board was Katron Allen's under 123.5 rushing yards. We had that even his under 12.5 receiving yards. Anything you could pretty much get early in the week, those were wiped off the board yesterday.
Everything's gone. Everything's gone.
All pipe dream. Gosh, we had it so good in the early going because interim head coach made sure to let him know he was going to play Katron Allen sparingly. So this is he was firmly in soft out territory. It was kind of amazing that the market took that long kind of to catch up to it. But with that being said, with him being out, obviously Nick Singleton won't be around. You're going to have the second tier of running backs. We're going to get to see some true freshmen. I actually like Ethan Grunkmeyer to go over his 185.5 passing yardage line. Last game against Rutgers, only threw the ball 21 times, completed 17 for 209 yards, averaged 10 yards per completion. The previous game against Nebraska averaged 15 yards per completion, only had 181 yards, but he threw the ball 12 times. And then obviously against Indiana in a very competitive matchup that if it weren't for Charlie Becker and Omari Evans making incredible catches down the stretch, we would have seen the Hoosiers take their first and only loss of the season. He went for 219 through 31 times. I watched Ethan Grunkmeyer in terms of those three games. I also got to see him in person at the Elite 11 camp when he was a senior, going to senior in high school. He's smart. He goes through his reads. The first and second level throws, real good. His downfield accuracy kind of waned a little bit. With him getting more of the bowl practices after being anointed the starter in week 8, I think you will see him be sharper. I do think you'll have to see Penn State pass in a manner that they kind of didn't have to when they had Singleton and Allen there as their true bell cows. They were just running over teams in the second half of the season. Like I said, Michigan State, Nebraska, Rutgers, it was all run-based. I think you'll see him have to throw a little more. And against this Clemson defense, missing Avion Terrell and just their main pressure mavens in Peter Woods and TJ. I just think it's a case where this is going to be an over for Grunkmeyer.
Froton, a follow-up on that with, and I agree with you with how depreciated Clemson's defense is, and then Penn State out Singleton, and then Allen, Terry Smith, he has been very clear, like he's not going to play very much. They're the stars that are playing for Penn State that are moving on. They've already indicated that they're not going to play full games. But with that being said, and then projecting perhaps a more pass-happy game script for Penn State than we have seen this season, and Grunkmeyer getting a little bit more comfortable, and then this Clemson defense way down, both the pass rush and then, of course, their elite boundary quarterback. I'm curious if you have any thoughts on the receiving props. Devontae Ross at 26.5, and then Kyron Hudson at 12.5. We don't have a ton of numbers. Luke Reynolds, 17.5. Andrew Replier, he's 15.5. Did you any of those you have a lean on?
Yeah, Andrew Replier. I'd taken a look at a few of them. Trevor Pena was a little enticing. of course, but he's at 3.5 receptions. I'm a Luke Reynolds guy. They're all so low.
Very low.
It's tantalizing, but it's who's going to get the usage. I mean, I don't know, Michael, do you have an opinion on that? I kind of...
Yeah, I was looking at the tight ends. No strong opinion on it, but I did read the On3 preview, and they said that the tight ends were going to be featured in this game. So I would give Luke Reynolds a look, maybe Andrew Rappleyea a look as well. Like you said, it's 15.5, 17.5. I think both of them have 1.5 reception lines. And I think they're going to try and feature those tight ends because we know that Matt Campbell utilized those guys back at Iowa State. So maybe kind of a showcase performance there. So, I maybe take a little nibble at those overs there with the tight ends.
Yeah, especially with the receptions. You're looking at 1.5 receptions for each of them. And if you're going to get any kind of feature, I mean, the dump offs, the short to intermediate range usage that you see Grunkmeyer is really comfortable with, that would really inform that opinion. Yeah,
I like that. Let's kick it. Bainbridge, who do you like in the props in this one?
Yeah, another smaller play, but I do like the under on Cade Klubnik, 240.5 passing yards. I've seen that trickle down some places. We have them projected at 207 passing yards. And I mean, you made the points for me, Thor. They're down wide receiver 1, Antonio Williams, who was obviously Klubnik's safety blanket the entire season, out with Bryant Wesco. And then we got the news yesterday that Cole Turner is out as well. And it looks even better if TJ Moore is in fact questionable for this game as well. So you got it's basically a skeleton crew everywhere on both sides of the football, but it's specifically the Clemson offense. It's a makeshift offensive line down your top 3 receivers. I don't know if you guys saw, but there's piles of snow on the sidelines. Looks like a very slick surface. 10 to 15 mile winds expected for a team down south who is not going to like to come up north and play in the cold. And to add to that, I'm not sure that we see Klubnik the entire game. I think we see backup Christopher Vizinha. What is correct? Viznina. Thank you. I do think we see him possibly looking towards 2026 and kind of a showcase performance for him as well. And then lastly, to close this off, Klubnik at the start of bowl practices, I know he's been practicing, but at the start of bowl practices, he wasn't even throwing with a thumb injury too. So if that is still lingering today, I really like that under on 240 passing yards.
That's a lot of factors there to support the Klubnik under. I would agree with that one too. As for me with my handicap, I'm going to take the small amount of points with Penn State here. There's a lot swirling in the wind, and not just talking about the snow flurries down there, but with all that being said, pregame here, I'm going to take the points with Penn State or take a small money line with them. I do that knowing that Dabo Swinney has been good in bowl games recently. I think it's 6-0 against the spread in his last 6, and he goes against an interim staff here. So that's obviously a big data point for Clemson. I just liked Penn State's talent more when I started to remove all the players that that we know are not going to be on the field. I like what Penn State's trotting out there today more. I just do. And I know they want to win a last game for Smith, who they advocated get the job, right? It ended up going to Campbell, but the players wanted Smith. Clemson's defense played down all year, and it is now an utter shell of itself. And I'm very concerned about both Clemson's wide receiver rooms, but also the offensive line room with all the defections there. I'm going to side with the points here, and is hopefully we get some Katron Allen. Could he play in the first half? You're going to get as many yards as you want against a depleted Clemson front seven. He ain't going to play the whole game, and those initial numbers were ridiculous for him. But there's going to be yards to be had there. We don't even know who we're going to see on Clemson.
No, and I'm hoping because I think we all probably hit those early Katron Allen lines on Underdog. He was listed as questionable on the injury report, so I'm leaning towards him not even playing at this point, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, and we don't have many prop lines in this. TJ Moore is out there. It's the only one that we have. He's 60-something. Yeah, but the fact of his status being up in the air, normally you'd hit it, because if Klubnik's playing and then you don't have anyone else to throw to, but in this game you have the weather stuff, TJ Moore's status, it's all up in the air. I'm going to stay away from that. We just did the Pinstripe Bowl, so we might as well hop over and do the Fenway Bowl. This one's UConn and Army today, 2:15 p.m. Eastern kick on ESPN. Army now is favored by 8.5 points. This line keeps going up. It was 7.5 yesterday. Total on this game, 42.5. On the UConn side, confirmed out their quarterback one, Joe Fagnano, who did have a 28-1 TDI&T rate. But Joe, what are you doing, bud? You really think you're going to get drafted? I don't know about that. We see lesser and lesser players opt out. Joe, if I was you, I think I would have shown up for this game and thrown again for 300 yards against one of the nation's worst pass defenses and secondaries. Just me. Yeah, just hard to, if you are watching, because we know he ain't doing anything today. Then on the UConn side as well, both their starting tackles have opted out, and they're good. And then a starting defensive tackle, Vincent Carroll Jackson, and a starting quarterback, Cam Chadwick, have also opted out. Looks like we're going to get Nick Evers here. That is a big downgrade. Evers was a former top recruit, and he's blowing around everywhere in his career. Looks like he's going to get to start in this one with Fagnano going out. And again, to Fagnano's credit, 28-1 TDI&T rate. I mean, this year, UConn could run the ball, and then they didn't make mistakes through the air. With both the starting tackles out, that's a problem for the offensive line for UConn. Mentioned both their bookend tackles are really good. Jim Mora, when he was at UConn, did a fabulous job recruiting in the trenches, in particular the offensive line. Over and over again, he sent offensive linemen to the NFL. Both those kids that opted out in this game could play in the NFL as well. The backups, not very good from what we've seen of them so far. So you have a big downgrade there. Skylar Bell will play for UConn. And Cam Edwards, their RB1, said he'll play as well, which is good because all three of his backups are in the portal, Cam Edwards. And then let's see who else we got here. On the Army side, not much. Their starting right guard is questionable for this game. And that's about it. Of course, they don't have any opt-outs. Froton, do you like anything in the prop market in this game?
There really isn't a prop market in this game for the most part. There isn't much we can really do with this. It's Cale Helms on the Army side, and with UConn, they're so afraid of listing anybody because of the conjecture that there really isn't much to go with. I know Mike's got to play, and I will acquiesce to him.
Yeah, I mean, like Eric said, there's nothing really available. But on Underdog, every parlay that I created, I added Cale Helms anytime touchdown, which I'm surprised they're even continuing to list it because it's minus 500. I just checked over at DraftKings. If you want some sort of play on the prop market, maybe you could play first touchdown scored by Cale Helms. That's plus 165. But yeah, that's just a pizza money bet. He does have a touchdown in 9 of 12 games this season, scored a touchdown in 7 of his last 8. He's got 6 or more red zone carries in 4 of the last 6 games. So he's scoring a touchdown today.
For me, my handicap of this game, even this getting up to 8.5 now, I'm laying the points with Army, and not something I would do in the regular season, laying that many points with a service academy, especially Army. This one, the matchup shouts it. My system shows a small amount of value on UConn, and you do typically want to take a touchdown plus with an underdog in bowl season against a team like Army that usually doesn't create margin. However, UConn, they take the massive hits with Mora being gone to Colorado State, their starting quarterback out, who was good. Both of the offensive tackles gone. You go from a good offensive line to a bad one now. And this is also just a horrid matchup for UConn. They're on defense, their run defense is literally one of the worst in the nation, 133rd in success rate for UConn. All the metrics are just rancid for UConn's run defense. This is probably the worst draw that UConn could have gotten. UConn could have taken advantage of Army's Achilles heel of that pass defense if they had everyone. Skylar Bell could have named his receiving number in this game if he had Fagnano. We can't really trust Nick Evers. He's given us reason over the years not to. So with all that being said, I have to lay the points here with Army, and I do have a lean on the under as well. I just think this one is Army is going to just gash him all day long on the ground. The Helms rushing, it seems like it's like ludicrously high, 133 or whatever, something like that. Very high.
Up there. 132, 133, yeah.
Can't go under. UConn can't stop anyone on the ground. So, I mean, this whole game, you're just going to see Helms galloping the anytime touchdown. We've been betting long enough. We never want to say something's a guarantee, right? That one, is as close as we've seen in bowl season on a player prop side. Would you guys agree with that?
And Mike Wright unders.
And the Mike Wright.
and the underpassing for Mike Wright. Okay, moving to our next. Oh, my favorite bowl game of the slate, Pop-Tarts Bowl, Georgia Tech and BYU. Line on this one's dropped to BYU -3.5. We have a total on it 55.5. My line on this game is I got BYU -7.7. So you probably know where I'm going to be going with my handicap. But this is a kickoff 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC today. On the Georgia Tech side, confirmed out. This game, I love it. I appreciate these teams because I don't have much to talk about in this section. But we do have a couple on the Georgia Tech side. Isaiah Canyon, receiver, is out with an injury. Their cornerback, Jai Gilmore, is out for the season. And then starting safety Clayton Powell-Lee is also out in this one with an injury. Haynes King, Jamal Haynes, Eric Rivers, they all said that they're going to play. Right guard Keelan Rutledge, NFL guy, he's going to play. Looks like we're not sure about their starting center, Tano Alo Tupula. He's in the portal. Not sure if he's going to play. Then there's also a couple of rotational defensive linemen that are questionable with injuries for Georgia Tech, but Georgia Tech has good depth there, so I don't really care about that. On the Georgia Tech coaching news side of things, Buster Faulkner, their offensive coordinator, took the same post with Florida. I think Chris Wanky Danky Doo is going to be calling plays in this one. So we're going to get a Chris Wanky sighting. And then on the BYU side, not much there either, except it's fairly big news, the little that we do have in that L.J. Martin, their star running back, the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, is out for this game with an injury, and then backup running back Sion Moa will not play in this one as well. Looks like it's going to be the Enoch kid, right, for BYU, is going to be their running back, Now Wine.
Yeah, I think he starts. I was looking at it. I think there's some hype around a freshman. They got Jovessa. I can't spell or can't pronounce any guys on BYU, so I won't even try it. Jovesi Damuni. I think they're most excited about him, a freshman. He's plus. I was just looking. He's plus 400 anytime touchdown. But yeah, I think Enoch gets the start probably.
It always reminds me of Boardwalk Empire when we get an Enoch sighting. So I'm going to be excited today for the Pop-Tart Ball for any fellow enthusiasts out there. Froton, we'll start with you. What do you like today in the prop market in the Pop-Tarts Bowl?
You think his teammates call him Nucky in honor of Steve Buscemi? You think they give him that? Or do they call him the Book of Enoch? I mean, you got a couple different directions you can go over there in Utah. That being said, I'm going over to BYU as well. Carson Ryan, the tight end, is listed at a robust 38.5 receiving yards. That's a pretty big line for a tight end. Typically in the preseason, if you get 404, from a college fantasy football perspective, that's considered a pretty decent season for a tight end. So 39 to be able to beat that. He's only beat it twice.
He's still 40. He's still 40 and a half.
Excuse me. He's still 40 and a half.
Yep.
I thought you'd come down by now. 40 and a half is a big number for a tight end. Even one who's talented as Carson Ryan only cleared that number twice in the last 9 games. That is quite a big number. I am going to go under on that. Hey, maybe he clears it, but God, the numbers certainly aren't in your favor there.
Like it. Mike, what for you?
Yeah, I'm on a BYU team total rushing under 179.5. I got that over at FanDuel. As you mentioned, Thor, LJ Martin out, backup Sione Moa out. Then they got 3 backups that, as we just saw, I don't know how to pronounce their names. And those guys are going to rotate. Plus, if you remember back to the Big 12 title game, Bear Bachmeier was limping. He got injured, rolled up on with his foot in that game. I believe the week after that, he was also in a boot. He is expected to play, obviously, but could be potentially hampered by that injury that he suffered in that conference title game. I'm on the under team rushing 179.5. I would also give, this is likely to end up in a void, but you mentioned it earlier, Thor. Isaiah Canyon, the receiver there for Georgia Tech, they're still listing him at 31.5 receiving yards, and he is probably not going to play, but he's considered doubtful. So again, if you just want to take it, it's likely to be a void, but if we get him to step on the field for one play, that should be an easy underplay there.
Who better than Canyon?
There you go.
I was looking for that running back you were talking about on Underdog, but I don't think they list him.
Yeah, I saw it over at FanDuel.
Okay.
Yep.
Might have to, well, hop onto the books after this and get that into a parlay or something. My handicap on this one, I'm going to lay the points with BYU. I was going to do 4 last night, but since 3.5, I'll lay 3.5 with BYU. They want to grind you to dust, and they have the matchup to do it here against a soft Georgia Tech defense that struggles to slow the run. I know that LJ Martin is not playing in this game, and of course you'd rather have him, but Bear Bachmeier running around, and BYU does have depth at that position. They're also going to have their opportunities against a ho-hum Georgia Tech secondary that is at half strength here. BYU's pass defense is really strong, so I expect Georgia Tech to lean even harder into their run game. BYU, number 34 success rate with their run defense, should slow them enough to stay in the game script they prefer. So I'm happy to lay the 3.5 in that one. Boys, moving to our next game. This is a 4:30 p.m. Eastern kick this afternoon on the CW. The Arizona Bowl, Miami of Ohio against Fresno State. Line on this game, Fresno State minus 5.5. Got an over-under of 40.5. My line on this game is Fresno State minus 8.1. Predominantly because Miami of Ohio, we go to their inactives for this game. Daquan Finn, their quarterback. Speaking of guys who make mistakes leading into their NFL draft process, Daquan Finn leaving to begin his NFL draft process early, bro. You're not getting taken, bro. Like, and I'm not sure if you get a contract, a UDFA contract after that BS.
Ugh.
My man, you need more tape. And probably at a different position you've never been able to throw. I don't know if I would have opted out of this game if I was you either. But okay, you have, and you left your team in a precarious spot here. Miami of Ohio, they're between Henry Hessen, who's a bad veteran, and then this freshman Tommy Gotkowski, who showed in the last game we saw him that he is not ready to be on the field. So great job for you, Daquan Finn. Their starting wide receiver, Miami of Ohio, Cam Perry, he's out in this one. Had almost 1,000 yards receiving this year.
Thor, he might play. I saw that on Twitter yesterday. Cam Perry might play in this game, actually.
Cam Perry, you want to give some help for Henry Hessen or Gotkowski in this one? So that'd be nice. Starting linebacker Corbin Hondrew is out. That's an injury thing. And then Kenny Tracy, been out since midseason. They're running back for Miami of Ohio. And then in the portal, they have some starting defenders in the portal that I'm not sure of they hadn't specified whether they're going to play in this one or not. Then on the Fresno side, not a ton. There's a couple, we have a couple questionable designations on defenders that do play, but nothing major there. With all that said, Froton, what do you like in the prop market in this game?
Yeah, as you mentioned, gosh, if we get Perry playing, then I suppose you'd look at Cole Weaver, the Dream Weaver, who's, I want to say he's like in the 60, 63 or so that I looked at. If Cam Perry's playing against this Fresno State defense, it's pretty good. That might be worth looking at and under, especially considering the quality or lack thereof of their quarterbacks with Double H and Steven Gostkowski, the great kicker for the New England Patriots. Maybe Mr. Gostkowski should stick to kicking. That being said, we're going over the other side with Fresno State. Not a particularly potent passing attack over there either. I'm looking at Josiah Freeman, who has not cleared his 55.5 receiving yardage line in 7 of his last 9 games. And if you look at Miami, Ohio, what do they do well? They do pass defense. 10th nationally in yards per successful dropback, allowing just a 56% completion rate. Excellent metrics. Have a hard time thinking that they will be airing it out and gunning it around against this Miami, Ohio defense. I think you see Fresno State, I'm taking them to win. I think script-wise, they will be ahead, which means instead of gunning it around in the later half of the game, I think they'll be salting it away, which really does kind of shorten the game. You're going to need a big play in order to get there. Maybe he does, but I'm betting against it. Under 55.5 receiving yards for Josiah Freeman.
And Mike, what about for you?
Yeah, I'm on the same play. I was looking at the game previews, and it seems like Fresno State media members did not have access to bowl practices, but I did read their preview, and their beat writer, I made notion of it. He said whether Freeman tries for the NFL draft, comes back, or transfers, Freeman's availability may not mean he plays the full game as usual. So again, that's alluding to we might not see Freeman today, or we may not see a full game from Freeman. So I like the under there. I'm not betting any overs in this game. The only over that I would take is EJ Warner over half an interception, because he's thrown 48 in his career, and Miami of Ohio leads the MAC in interceptions force. So that is the only over that I would take. I think we have some injury looks potentially with Josiah Freeman. I know Rayshon Luke is also banged up as well, so we may not see him go as well.
Yeah, for me in this one, you guys summed that up well. This is going to be a brutal offensive game to watch, but that has been baked into the total with how low that thing is. So I can't touch that one. For me, I'm going to lay the points here with Fresno State. They're kind of similar kind of teams. It's just that Fresno State is a better version of it, and Fresno State at least has their offense intact. And we could certainly argue against EJ Warner, but we would all rather have EJ Warner in this game than Henry Hessen or the Goskowski kid, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so and that's basically where I'm at with it. Fresno, again, both these teams have really, really good G5 defenses. It's just Fresno State is going to be leaning on this Miami of Ohio offense that can't move the ball anymore. So, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'll lay the points with Fresno State in that one to 5.5.
Just real quick to close that one off. I think we'd all agree that's a game. If you're sitting around watching college football today, I'd pay attention to Twitter for any pregame news that comes out. Would you guys be surprised if we see multiple quarterbacks on either team today? I wouldn't.
No, not at all.
Especially on Miami of Ohio. I expect it on the Miami of Ohio side. But Warner...
Definitely.
Yeah, you throw a couple picks there.
It could end up like that FIU game last night, right? Keon Jenkins prop lines were hanging out there, and then it's the other guy that gets the start. I would not be surprised to see similar funny business in this game.
For sure. Next one, New Mexico Bowl, North Texas against San Diego State. This is kind of a fun one. Line in this game is North Texas minus 6.5. Total right now 52.5. My line on this game is North Texas minus 7.2. But that being said, a lot of statuses up in the air with this one still, which I'll get into in a second. But this is a 5:45 p.m. Eastern kick tonight on ESPN. North Texas, the story there, it's more about the guys that could opt out than the guys that have. We don't have a ton of news right now. They do have 3 good contributors in the transfer portal. Don't know if they're going to play or not. What I'm more curious about, it's the Caleb Hawkinses, it's the Drew Mestamakers, it's the Wyatt Youngs, the Miles Colemans. That offense was so nasty for North Texas, and obviously Eric Morris left for the job at Oklahoma State, who will end up playing in this game. That we don't really know until we get there later. I mean, these guys haven't opted out yet, but will they once the game starts? That's where you're sort of up in the air there. On the San Diego State side, we do have a couple confirmed out. Their starting quarterback, Jaden Denegal, he's injured. He's not going to play. And then their wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 3 are both out for the year with injuries. Jordan Napier, Jacob Bostic. We get a sighting of former Central Michigan quarterback Bert Emanuel Jr. here is starting in place of Denegal.
Welcome back, Bert Emanuel. I legitimately thought he might be out of football. He's back, baby. Central Michigan's own Bert Emanuel.
It's a travesty we did not get a line on that.
Well, he did. It was, again, a brief shining moment in time. We got 100.5 passing yards.
I'm not awake at 1 a.m. to hit these lines.
Yeah, and late at night. They literally are dropping them in the cover of darkness like it's a freaking SEAL raid.
Man,
it's true. I mean, it's what they're doing.
So Manuel, he was out there for a little bit. His passing yards.
They're releasing,
They're releasing stuff on FanDuel at like 11 midnight. Yeah,
it's awful. It's just shameful on their parts. I can't believe it.
Next December, I guess we can't sleep.
No, we can't.
Or we'll do
Not
we'll
during
do
bowl
a thing.
season.
You know, during like wartime, like back in the day, it'd be like one of the guys,
shifts.
taking shifts. That's how we'll do it. We'll go 3 hours each of us overnight. We'll do it like that.
Do not fall asleep on your post, boys. You can't.
They dropped Bert Emanuel. What were you doing?
That cost the man. We're losing lives out here because you fell asleep.
100%. On the San Diego State side, big one we're watching for is Chris Johnson, their stud cornerback on San Diego State. And that one would matter if Mestamaker and the receivers play for North Texas. So, again, a lot up in the air here. And it might be tough to hit on the props with that being said. But, Froton, did you find anything?
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind with the San Diego State defense, we all think about their head coach, of course, who was unceremoniously dismissed by Dion last year and who ramped it up with the flash fast offense over at Kent State. You know, Sean, God, I can't remember his last name.
Lewis.
Forgive me. Sean Lewis. I was like, Tucker? No, Sean Tucker is
he brought his boy Bert Emanuel from the MAC over here for this one.
He's like, well, we need a backup. Denegal can't play. It's got to be Bert Emanuel. Bless his heart. Bless his under his heart. But what's crazy is they were actually running at the 112th pace in the country, and their defense was ridiculous this year, especially the pass defense. Number 1 in yards per dropback allowed, 4.2 yards per dropback, 3rd in EPA per dropback. They were phenomenal, and that really kind of gets over the other side of us here with North Texas. Eric Morris is gone. He's at Oklahoma State. You got to think that the big triplets that you mentioned, Messamaker, Young, Caleb Hawkins, they're all going to be gone. They're not sticking around at North Texas. They're probably heading to be a cowpoke over there in Stillwater. So how much are they going to play? They already have a capital E elite G5 pass defense they're going to have to deal with. We saw what happened against Tulane, where they had a real hard time against them, you know, with Wyatt Young in particular, 1 catch on 7 targets. In fact, Wyatt Young, he is listed at 7.5 receptions. He has only cleared that 3 times all year in 13 games. That is massive. And look at who he's doing against. UAB, helpless. Charlotte, helpless. The worst, I would say probably the worst team in the country. Charlotte. Those are 2 of the 3 teams. The other one's Rice, where, you know, it's food. And he has his mega game against that poor secondary. But, I mean, when they're playing any team with a pulse, and given the situation, this isn't just a team with a pulse. This is San Diego State's pass defense. All the conjecture around how much these guys will play. Do we get the soft-out opportunities? I can't do it. Give me the under 7.5 receptions and Wyatt Young.
I love that. Yeah, I can't believe it, 7.5. I mean, is Messamaker indeed going to play?
So he was practicing. They have visual evidence on their official Twitter page that they're practice images from this week. So he is practicing. But I'm kind of in the same vein, looking at the soft out narrative for North Texas. I'm going under on Drew Mestamaker's 34.5 pass attempts. He's only cleared this 4 times in 13 games. And like Eric alluded to, they're San Diego State, elite defensively for a G5 team. And they are 119th in pace offensively, so they are really going to slow this game down. So maybe limit possessions on both sides of the ball. So I really like the under here. And then, like you said, the soft out narrative, potentially playing half a game. The one example that I was thinking of, and maybe you guys can remember. Do you remember the reason that Cam Ward last year only played a half? Was there an official reason that they gave in that game?
Well, I think he didn't want to say he was going to opt out in the pregame. So it was like that he played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This new age college football, like you almost wonder, like, is it built into their contracts now that you have to participate a little bit in the bowl game to get your incentives or whatever have you. So I don't know. That's just speculation, but I do like his under. I mean, he's failed to do this, 9 times in 13 games.
I do want to get to the comment section here. Brent Williams put one up here. It says, is there any value on San Diego under team total 23.5? Bro, that's a big line for San Diego State's offense, especially considering we have Bert Temple Emmanuel over there at quarterback. I do think there is value on that.
The only thing is UNT's run defense is an absolute abomination. and Bert Emanuel, and then the Lucky Sutton show. Can North Texas actually that would be my only concern, is that Bert Emanuel and Lucky Sutton rip off multiple long touchdown runs in this one. It's hard for me to bet on either side of this one until I know this. Is Mestamaker going to play? Is Hawkins going to play? Why would they? I really don't know why those guys would play. If they do, I would lay the points with UNT here. If UNT's full strength, but I don't expect them to be, because again, and for the whole game, right? I mean, we're talking about the soft out thing. So maybe you see Mestamaker for a half, maybe you see Hawkins for a quarter or something. I don't see those guys going the 4 quarters. So until that, it's tough for me. But like I mentioned, UNT's run defense has been an abomination. 126 success rate. They had trouble, North Texas did, with Western Michigan, a team that plays like San Diego State's going to be playing in this game, where they just run with their quarterback, run with the running back. They don't throw very much. They also got smoked by South Florida, another team that with the running quarterback. But yeah, again, it's just hard for me not knowing the status of Johnson on the San Diego State side, not knowing the status of Mestamaker, feeling like I know, and Hawkins, if they're going to play the full game. This is one where I got to wait on the sidelines of this one until we get into kickoff. I would lean San Diego State if I take those points. Would be my preference if I know that, even if I just knew that Mestamaker wasn't going to play all 4 quarters. Give me those points. But with all that stuff up in the air, like if Chris Johnson opts out, but then UNT's full strength, it's too much up in the air for me. Boys, kicking it to the Gator Bowl, Virginia and Missouri, 7:30 Eastern kickoff tonight on ABC. The line on this one, Missouri -4. We have a total of 43.5. The Virginia side of this thing, Jamari Taylor, the running back, potential opt-out. He's going to the Senior Bowl. Do we have lines on Jamari Taylor in the?
Yeah, that's one of my plays. Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
definitely loving him.
And then Chandler Morris, he going to play in this one. Injuries on Virginia's side. Cam Robinson, one of their starting linebackers, is out for the year, and then Maddox Marsalis is a linebacker that would have been playing a lot more. He's questionable for this game. With Robinson being out, their tight end 1, Dakota Twitty, is questionable, I believe, and then wide receiver 1, Terrell Harris. He left the ACC title game with an injury. He's questionable. Virginia's going to be really short at linebacker if Marsalis can't go. And then is Terrell Harris, is his prop lines? We have anything on him?
Nope.
He was up for a little bit, but they might have been wiped.
Yeah, actually 56.5. He's up there on BetMGM still.
Okay.
According to the Better Vision app, of course. Best app you can find on the apps. Otherwise, you got to go to the desktop. Get Better Vision.
And comparing those lines, especially the props, especially in bowls, so important. Some of these we don't know, like as we're doing the show, like is it up? Where's the best line? So those things super valuable. On the Missouri, always moving. On the Missouri side, confirmed out. Bo Prabula, we know he's in the portal. He's not going to play. Joshua Manning is in the portal, won't play. Wide receiver Marquise Johnson, same thing. Another wide receiver won't play. They're starting tight end Brett Norfleet, who I know well from the 60-team league. He's injured and won't play. And then starting linebacker Josiah Trotter also will not play with an injury. On the Missouri side, Matt Zoller's backup quarterback. He's going to start in this one. Started 3 games. He started 3 games in his career, so he's going to get his 4th here. But Missouri's going to be super duper thinned out at wide receiver and pass catching core overall with Norfleet. So I think we're going to get the Ahmad Hardy show here. Drinkowitz said that there wasn't going to be many opt-outs outside of that, although there's guys like Zion Young, the edge defender there. There's some other guys like that are headed to the NFL draft. We'll have to wait and see. Indeed, they come out for kickoff in that thing. Froton, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, I don't have any official plays, but, I mean, if we're looking at Missouri, and I expect them to absolutely pound Ahmad Hardy until, ride him hard and put him away wet. I think that's really the play here for them. He is truly, in terms of the G5 to Power 5 transfers up, he is one of the true success stories coming up from ULM. If I would lean anything on him, I mean, his rushing number is 117.5. That's up there. Plus 190, you're getting 2-to-1 odds for him to score 2 touchdowns. Are they fleeting? Yes. Is that going to be what they do? Yes. Maybe a little sprinkle on that, but no official plays. I'm more on the on Michael's play as well. I'm simpatico with you, Mr. Bainbridge.
Let's hear it, Mike.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under on Jamari Taylor. It's white most places, so I still see it on underdog. So I'd imagine if you still have 365, you can get it there as well. But it's down to 77.5, open at 80.5. As of yesterday, nobody knows. I mean, aside from probably Jamari Taylor, if he's going to play today. And I would like this under, even if we knew he was full go. I mean, this Missouri defense is, one of the best units in this game. 11th in rush D success rate, 33rd in EPA per rush, 39th in stuff rate. So it's a really good defense overall. Not many opt-outs on that side, unless, Drinkwitz is surprised by some people opting out in pregame. But, you look at Virginia too, Harrison Whaley, the RB2 there, he's got double-digit carries over the last 3 games too. So even if we do see Jamari Taylor, I expect Harrison Whaley to be heavily involved as well. Real quick on Eric's Ahmad Hardy take. He needs 143 yards, I believe, to break the single season school record. So he's listed at 117.5 rushing yards. So you may look to ladder that if we kind of get word or inkling that he may go for that today.
I mean, he's a true stud. He really is. And on the Jamari Taylor front, 77.5 still up on BetMGM. I'm showing he's also there on BOL Bovada 71.5. So offshore, they're still hanging him. Everywhere else, he's wiped.
For me, the handicap of this one, I'm going to go under now it's down to 43.5. The total on this one, I'm going to go under that number. Both teams led by defenses. In terms of SP Plus rankings, Missouri's 13th. Virginia was 26th heading into this game. And both offenses are going to be down here. In particular, Missouri's passing game. That has been baked into the line and the spread, though. With this thing at 4, my line on this one was Missouri minus 4.9. I'm very close to where the number is, so I do think the market has accurately baked all its stuff in. Missouri's going to be super duper run dominant in this game. Virginia does have a solid run defense, but if on the Virginia side, if Taylor can't play, Virginia's going to have to skew even more to the air. Missouri's pass defense is elite. The status of Harris, me not knowing what's going to go on there, all that stuff being said, I'm going to go under the 43.5. Again, I just think it's going to be Hardy, clock rolling down. So I'm going to play the under on that one. And boys, the last one for today, our 8th and final bowl game for Saturday, the Texas Bowl, LSU and Houston. Line on this one, Houston minus 1.5. We got a total of 41.5. My line on this game is Houston minus 4.4, mostly because of all the confirmed guys that we know are not going to play on LSU, which is a long list, and we probably don't have the full one. But here's what I got. Garrett Nussmeier, the quarterback, obviously isn't going to play because of the draft. They're also going to be out Josh Thompson, offensive guard, 2 wide receivers, and Aaron Anderson and Nick Anderson. On the defensive side, defensive end, Jack Pyburn, 3 linebackers, count them, Harold Perkins, Whit Weeks, and Wes Weeks aren't going to play. And in secondary, Mansour Delane and A.J. Halsey are going to the NFL draft as well. Michael Van Buren is going to get his 4th start, I believe, this season for LSU behind center at quarterback. And then at the wide receiver position, I think if I did it correctly with the depth chart, I think it's going to be Kyle Parker and Chris Hilton are going to be getting more playing time today with the absences that they have. LSU at linebacker, it's getting precarious there with the guys that are out. And I think that's what Houston has to attack. And I think that's what Houston wants to attack. Is going to be the severely compromised second level of the defense of LSU. LSU does have better secondary depth than they have linebacker depth, but you're losing, potential top 12 draft pick in Delane Island at cornerback. Halsey's going to be a round 2 pick, so I mean that really hurts the secondary. On the coaching side, obviously, Brian Kelly fired a long time ago. Interim staff running out the string here, and then they're going to scatter across the nation. On Houston's side, not as much to talk about. Their starting center left the program about a month ago. He's not going to play in this game. They have a starting defensive tackle that did not play in the finale, is questionable for this one. Steven Johnson, wide receiver. We haven't seen him since the middle of the season. I don't think there's much outside of that. Like Connor Weigman, he already announced that he's going to play for the team next year. So we're going to see him in this one. And that's all I got for it. So Froton, Texas Bowl tonight. What do you like in the prop market?
Yeah, well, this is, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the swan song for our boy Mean Dean Connors?
I think it is.
Oh boy, R.I.P. Our boy Mean Dean. Gosh, we had some great games over there at Rice a couple of years ago. I mean, he was an absolute receiving machine from a college fantasy perspective. He will be missed and looked upon fondly. That being said, I like someone else to run the ball. Connor Weigman, as you mentioned, coming back, program guy, is obviously comfortable there under Willie Fritz in Houston. Willie Fritz, to his credit, he tends to retain quarterback. Michael Pratt stuck around at Tulane when he had other options. Guys love to play for him, and that's certainly the case with Weigman. They have been running him a lot in the second half of the season. Goes for 98 against Arizona, 111 against ASU. Goes for 82 against UCF, 114 against TCU, 121 against Baylor, and he's being hung at 37.5 rushing yards out there. Look, I know it's LSU, but I mean, this is kind of just SEC. Oh, it's an SEC team. It's SEC defense. I know they were a good defense, but you have so many defections, as Thor mentioned. That second level, those linebackers are really, really compromised, that group. They're going to be trotting out very inexperienced players, and with Houston having the continuity with most of their team playing, a lot of turnover there in LSU. The motivation factor, I think, is in play. While I've been very specious giving out the overs, I've really been nervous about doing that during bowl season. I kind of try to look at these unders. I can't help but take an over on 37.5 rushing yards on our boy Connor Weigman.
I like this one. I'm with you, Froton. Bainbridge, what about you?
No, I don't have any official plays on this one. Just real quick, just to interject, we're looking good in that East Carolina-Pittsburgh game at 0-0.
Let's go!
Almost the end of the first quarter, and Chasten Didda did start. So if anybody was up at midnight to get Mike right, we just need a snap from him.
Just need a helmet to pop off, and then we do the Didda. Do the Didda if you.
Yeah, no official play though, but it is interesting. I know the Amari Thomas line, and Eric, you had an opinion on this one as well. It's gone back and forth. I was reading the pregame report, and when the media met with Amari Thomas, he's like dead set on getting to 1,000 yards. I believe he's 96 yards short of that. And he was asked like, "Oh, what do you want for Christmas?" And he's like, "For Connor Weigman to get me to 1,000 receiving yards today." So do not be surprised if he gets absolutely peppered with targets today.
Wow. For me in this one, you look at Houston, Weigman, Connor's been talking a lot about them in this really good tag team running duo, and they're going to destroy this LSU run defense. They just are. LSU's run defense was good during the regular season, but it has been absolutely decimated, and in particular, that linebacking core. The defensive front's down a little bit too, but that linebacking core totally hollowed out. And then on the other side of this thing, LSU, they struggled to run the ball all year, but in this game, you can't really lean back on your passing game to save you because that has been decimated by defections here. Houston, this is a de facto home game with a coach, and they have a coaching staff that remains intact, and it matches up really, really well against this LSU team that, by the way, boys, trivia time for you. When is the last time that LSU beat a Power 4 team with a winning record? Can any of you tell me when the last time they did?
That's a good question.
It was in the opener against the Clemson Tigers.
Wow.
It's been a while.
A pair of paper tigers indeed in that game. My gosh.
Yeah, in hindsight, that kind of changed the interpretation a little bit there, right? LSU goes 2-4 down the stretch, and during that 6-game stretch, they absolutely should have lost to Arkansas. In other words, LSU was lucky to go 2-4 down the stretch, and now the guys that had quit on the field, they have literally quit and walked away after the coaching staff got blown up before it. Houston should be favored by more than the 1.5. It might look weird, like, oh, Houston favored over LSU. They should be favored by more. Houston by at least a touchdown in this game. And Houston could drop the hammer. The way that Willie Fritz likes to play football, and Froton, I loved your play of the over on the Weigman rushing. They love to run Weigman. Weigman's a tough kid. He's got the big frame. He's athletic. And you're attacking that linebacking core that is going to have all kinds of inexperience here flowing to the ball. Willie Fritz loves to do the misdirection thing. It's a guy who came up with the triple option principles. He's evolved his offense. Oh, man. They already give problems to the second level of defenses, and now you got a bunch of babies out there for LSU. I don't know about that. And the defensive set, the interim, the whole thing. I think Houston absolutely rolls in that thing. Boys, any other comments before we let the folks out of here? It's all the games we have.
Yeah, Hero Non-Zero 5120 want to know what's going on with my necklace. Well, let me explain. This is from Trophy Smack, and I have, if you can see, that is a 10 out of 10 Mackay Lemon first auto Bowman University Chrome. That's what it is. If you guys know Logan Paul has one of these things, right? He has his Pokemon card. Well, I have my Bowman University cards in here. And since we won't be able to do USC, our next show is on Wednesday, in honor of Mackay Lemon, who will be a first-round pick, I feel. Thor, is that correct? How do you feel about that?
Absolutely.
A lockdown first-round pick. I wanted to give respect to my fellow Southern California boys since I'm here in San Diego. Giving it up for Mackay Lemon. That's all. Hero Non-Zero 5120. I appreciate you, sir.
I love it. Bainbridge, any final thoughts for the folks?
Yeah, Marlon Gunn's got 0 rushing yards, Eric. So.
Let's go, Marlon Gunn!
Is it still 0-0 on that one?
It's still yeah. Yep.
Man,
real barn burner to start the day. Real barn burner.
So under 51.5 and the points at the 13.5 probably looking good right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're all looking good. Our next show is but before we go, as a programming note, I don't want to get this wrong. It's on New Year's Eve, which is Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Wednesday.
That is correct. Wednesday.
So the next time we will be live on this channel, going over the next of our bowl slate, including the round 2 of the college football playoff. But then the next ones will be on Wednesday morning, same time, same place. I'm pretty sure 9:30 start here. We'll get the links out and everything. But on the Score North channel, the Football Takes channel here, please, if you're seeing us on YouTube, if you give us a like, you give us a subscribe, it would really help us. We'd really appreciate it. And please put it in your calendar to spend the morning of your New Year's Eve with me and my friends Eric and Michael talking about the next slate of bowl games. And appreciate you guys joining us today. For my co-hosts Eric Froton and Mike Bainbridge, I've been Thor Nystrom. We'll see you next time. Let's go cash some tickets.